No,
Okay.
no.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Sheepbirds Podcast. Today's guest is Dino. Am I pronouncing it right?
Dino,
Dino.
Dino.
Dino. See, I told you I was going to get it wrong. Today's guest is Dino. Hi, Dino. Welcome to my podcast.
Hey, how are you?
Good. So, Dino is the author of There Is No Box. So, can you tell our listeners what inspired you to write your book, There Is No Box?
Yeah, basically got out of rehab and smack dam into a COVID lockdown, which is, for extra fun. And, I left all my family and my friends and my old businesses behind me, right? So I was alone and just kind of stuck in isolation. It was between doing something to find purpose or having a drink. And so I just decided to, write my book, which is really a story of my life. It's a story of just keep pushing forward, really is the resonating theme of it.
Wow, that's amazing. Like, I never knew that alcohol was that bad of an addiction until last year. I was dating an alcoholic. I think I told you that before we went
Yeah.
live. Like, I was dating an abusive alcoholic. He didn't think he was abusive, but yeah, I didn't think that alcohol could really do that to people, like have them in rehab and all that stuff. I thought it was just like to ease your mind and then you'll be good after, like I didn't think it was an addiction.
Well, that's how it starts. That's how it starts. It always starts as your friend. Okay. Makes you braver, calms you down, and, makes you go to sleep, whatever it is. And I never thought that I was an alcoholic for a long time. And I suffered with addiction for over 20 years. I've had, a lot of successful businesses while I was an alcoholic too, which is
Wow.
kind of, weird. So imagine, moving forward, constantly trying to move forward from a very young age. And then, for the last 20 years of my business career, I'm also pulling a ball and chain, that's like 100 pounds, and I'm just, pulling it. And it just slowly, it took over my life to the point where even I could conquer the whole world. That's how you think. I couldn't beat this. I couldn't stop on my own either. So whoever does cold turkey, hey, total respect for you. But I had to go to rehab. And it was the first time I did something for me. Yeah, alcohol is no joke. It's a what I call it, an equal opportunity destroyer.
Wow. And you made that decision on your own, like I'm gonna go get help, like no one made you do it or you wasn't court ordered to do it, you just went?
No, and all those are really good reasons. I mean, a lot of people go in for their family or their children, or they'll flat out tell you court ordered. Mine, I literally walked away from $1 billion business that I built. Just walked away, just one day, goodbye, and I couldn't take it anymore. I didn't care about anything, and so I remember being alone in one of my homes. It's huge. It was a mansion, and it had all these material things, right? I had the fancy cars and the art and the jewelry and all the stuff that you think matters. And I remember looking around and saying, you know what? I have all this and it means nothing. It means nothing. And so I did it for me. It was the first time I actually thought of myself first. But you have to, don't you? I mean, you have to do it for yourself. So once I wrapped my head around, hey, you're not being selfish, but if you can't help yourself, you're not going to be any good to anybody ever, right? I wanted to experience life again. I didn't just want to be alive. I wanted to live. So I went to rehab, and you know what? Rehab sounds kind of scary. It was the first time I've been there, and obviously I vowed for it to be the last. But once I embraced it and trusted that, hey, you know what? This is a cool place where I could put my phone down and I don't have to worry about anybody else, and the world will still turn without me and everything's cool. Then I focused on me getting better. And it was kind of like summer camp. I mean, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's how it was whenever on my birthday, like because they take all your stuff from you when you go to the
Yeah,
hospital. So I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, what am I doing without my phone? And it was like the best week of my life. I'm like,
right.
this is amazing. I met a few friends in the hospital, and I'm like, I never thought that I would meet like other friends that are trying to kill themselves too. So it
Yeah.
was interesting speaking to them.
Yeah,
So.
you're definitely not alone. I mean, it's such a lonely thing. You don't want to admit, right, that you need help. But every day that goes by, it just kind of works on you. By the way, if anybody in COVID lockdown, okay, I don't care who you are, but imagine if you have addiction problems, right? Or you're not feeling good about yourself, but you're isolated. You're alone with your thoughts, morning, noon, and night. It could drive you insane. And so it was really tough for me. It was really tough for me. I watched 456 episodes of Law and Order because remember everybody was like the binge-a-thons. And I should have had a law degree. I mean, I watched so much of it. But after a while, those old familiar things start coming in your head because you're lonely. I didn't have anybody with me. And I got calls from my past. Obviously, people are like, "Hey, why don't you come back, and do another business? You're always successful." And I just wanted to do something different, but I didn't know what. I wanted to do something, kind of like reinvent myself, something that had purpose and meaning for me, right? And so I'm just trying to think about it, and all of a sudden I get this text at my lowest point, right? I go to a liquor store. I find a liquor store in the middle of COVID. I go there. I buy a bottle of vodka and I bring it home. And I'm crying. I'm crying. I'm like, oh man, this is so bad. I can't do this. This is bad. And I just wanna open that bottle so bad, right? And I was just really almost ready to do it. And all of a sudden I get this text from some kid that I don't think I talked to for 3, 4 years. Okay. And, people will stop me on the street. You drive a Lambo, you drive a Rolls. I mean, you're going to get attention. Okay. And I remember, every time I drive these vehicles, right, people would stop me and, hey, can I pick your brain for a second? Can I ask your opinion on this? Can I ask your advice on what you did to be successful? And I just rattle off something. You're like, yeah, sure. But you never stick around to see, did I help? Did I, motivate somebody? Did I inspire somebody? You never stick around. Plus, I didn't care. Okay. At the time, all of a sudden, at my lowest point, I get this text from one of those kids. And it was like, hey, I don't know how you've been doing. I don't know where you are. It's been a few years, but I just wanted to know if I could take you to lunch. Your words of advice, inspired me, and I'd consider it an honor. And I was just like, you can't make this up, okay? So, I look at the text and then I look at the bottle and I took the bottle and I didn't throw it out. I put it in my pantry and it's still there, by the way. It's still there. It's a constant reminder that I can overcome these things. But as soon as I read that text, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to write a book about my life, about, the things that I've done, incredible things that I've done in business, but also, I failed too. People want to have everything pretty now. They want to just only show you the pretty side, but there's also some ugly moments too. There's also failure. Failure happens. And I wanted to write a book about my life. I've, done business stuff for 40 years. And with the goal that, if I can inspire just somebody who, maybe is going through the COVID lockdown or somebody that doesn't believe that they can accomplish things or that they don't deserve everything that life has to offer. Maybe it'll help somebody. The book definitely helped me writing the book. And I know you say author, but I consider myself a storyteller. And the good thing is it was my story. It was my story to tell. So it was kind of fun. So I didn't know how to write a book. I've never written a book before. And I'm just like, how do I do this? And then I remembered, I love movies and I love the way movies are structured. So I kind of wrote my book like a movie where I'm the narrator in the book, and you follow me along my journey. You know what I mean? And when you're done with the book, the feedback that I've received is, people, it leaves you inspired. It leaves you inspired, which is a great feeling for me.
Oh, that's amazing. So
Yeah.
what was your hardest scene to write in your book? And why was
Well,
it the hardest scene?
well, nobody really wants to write about themselves. You know what I mean? Uh, it's, it doesn't seem like it, but I'm a shy guy. I mean, it's kind of hard to write about yourself. By the way, it's kind of hard to look at yourself. I mean, I'm kind of a dinosaur in this new world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've been, I've been, plugging away, pushing forward, believing that I can achieve anything for 40 years. Okay. And I've had great success. I've had some failures too, but, never really noticed or anything around me like technology and stuff like that. All of a sudden you go to rehab, right? You're supposedly retired. You go into a COVID lockdown, you're writing a book, and then all of a sudden your book is published and you're out and you're just like, wow, this is a whole new world. What's a Twitch? What's a tweet? What do I do with my hands? you know,
Yeah.
uh, so it's kind of different, but to write about yourself is kind of hard.
Yeah.
And when you're worried about sentence structure and spelling, that's kind of hard too. But then I stopped and I'm just like, you know what? More so than the sentence structure and the spelling. If I mess up, I mess up. But it's the words, it's the feeling. I wrote it with emotion. So during parts of my life, that were happy, I would crack up writing the book. During the sad times, I was tearing up. You know what I mean? It invokes emotion, and it just takes you through twists and turns that are really interesting. I think you're going to like it.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out. And like speaking to millionaires and billionaires, I've had quite a few on my podcast, and reading comments from like people who comment like on about Robin Williams and other celebrities who have taken their lives due to mental illnesses and addiction and stuff like that. And they comment on it, they're like, why are they upset? They have money. They can buy anything they want. And I'm like, well, they're humans too. They have emotions. Just because they have money doesn't mean that's all they, need,
You hit on a really good point. For a good part of my life, full disclosure, I mean, all I cared about was what's in my bank account and what I owned. But that's what you think success is sometimes, right? And then you find, though, at least I did, is that even with everything that I had, I mean, I had jets, cars, mansions, anything you want. Okay. It's, why am I still sad? Why am I still drinking? See, when it's the tough times, right? And I'd have a drink, I'd be like, well, this is calming me down. This is making me go to sleep. This is getting rid of my nerves, right? What's my excuse when I have everything I thought I wanted and I still am hooked on drugs and alcohol, right? But there's another part of this too. There's another part. If you're not really grounded in your own convictions and your own values, right? And if you're easily swayed by what other people think and say, it could get to you. It could get to you. And so somebody who has, and it's happened to me, okay? Somebody who's got nothing, and then all of a sudden you come up with something, some idea, or you start some business, and all of a sudden you're like, you're just like everywhere. And that happened to me. I mean, 1 minute, I'm broke and my middle name is so what? And then, the next minute I come up with this thing, this invention, and I'm in People magazine. I'm being interviewed by Oprah. I'm on CNN. I'm everywhere. And it was just, to go to a simple gas station and pump your, car full of gas, and people are like, beep, beep. Hey, I saw you. Hey, you're the bug man. Cause I invented a product called Bug Man. It was a lot. It was a lot. And so I think that if I didn't go through the tough times as well, and if I wasn't grounded in, like, never forget where you came from kind of thing, you start believing your own crap. Sorry. but you do. And next thing you know, you start listening to people. I mean, there's always going to be haters out there. You can't stop that, right? But you have a choice. You can either listen to them or
Mhm.
you can just believe in yourself. I mean, I pay my bills, right? It's my life. It's my choice. Um, and so everybody's free to express themselves any way they want. But, I followed my own road and I only knew one direction, and that was forward. Okay. If I listened to what everybody said, I may not be here today. I may not be here today. So, you don't know what's in a Robin Williams's head
Right.
um, when that happens. But when they say money isn't everything, that always used to aggravate me. But so let me say it too. Money isn't everything either. It's great. It's great. Don't get me wrong, but it's not everything.
Mhm. I agree. I agree. 1,000%. So, what advice would you give to help others who are trying to change their life, like who are going through what you've been through, like rehab and all that addiction and stuff? What advice would you give to help them?
Well,
Mhm.
advice is, forget about trying to beat it because
Mhm.
you won't. It's almost like sticking your hand in a flame. You get burned, and then these people are like, "Well, maybe next time it's not going to burn." Hey, it's gonna burn. It's gonna burn every time you do it. It's still gonna burn. I would say, forget well, I'm doing it for this person, which is important. Okay, I'm
Mhm.
not knocking that. Don't go around saying, "Oh my God." But do it for yourself. Do it for
Mhm.
yourself. Because if you're not strong enough, then you're no good to anybody around you. Do it for yourself.
Mhm.
And when you get out, some advice, world according to Dino. Remember, the people you meet on the way up are the
Mhm.
same people you meet on the way down. Okay,
Right.
meaning you get out of rehab and you're clean and sober, and you do your best to kind of like shelter yourself from the world because you don't want to be influenced. You don't want all these negative things around you. But it's life. It's the real world. You're gonna be exposed to those things. You can't live in a bubble
Mhm.
forever. And so I've seen that a lot of people that come out and they're clean and sober, and congratulations, whoever you are, they have a tendency to be like, okay, I have to be good, and I'm probably going to be boring, and I can't do anything, and I can't over have fun because I
Mhm.
may relapse. And you know, look, 98% of everybody who goes into rehab relapses. That scared the crap out of me. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I didn't believe it was that low, but it makes sense. It makes sense. So what I did is, when I found my purpose, um, when I, just kind of like, I just fell off the rails a little bit. But I remembered a saying that a counselor told me, and he said that, don't let one bad moment in your life define who you are.
Right.
And that speaks volumes, right? So who am I? Who am I? My entire life, I've believed that I deserve success. I believed that I deserved happiness. I believed that I can achieve anything that I set my mind to. And I always plugged forward. I was never afraid, never afraid. Even if I failed and failed and failed, never failed the same way twice. And I always picked myself back up. So why is this so different? Right?
Right.
So I'm out of rehab. I find my purpose. And I remember that, you know what? This was just one bad moment. You
Mhm.
know, that doesn't define who I am. I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter. I'm like Rocky. Okay. And, and I just got back up. But there's so much more to life than just sitting around being afraid.
Mhm.
Um, and being clean and sober doesn't mean you're going to be boring. That's what I thought
Mhm.
for a long time, and I was just like, oh man, you know what? I'm going to be bored. But I wish I had a camera, on my head walking around when I thought I was the life of the party. I made a complete ass of myself. But you think, of course, oh my God, I'm the life of the party. No, you weren't. No, you weren't.
That's funny. So I want to thank you so much for coming on my podcast today and chatting with me about your book.
Thank you.
You have a great day.
You too. Take care.
Bye. Hey everyone, I want to thank you all so much for listening to my interview with Dino. And if you would like to purchase his book, it is on his website. It's his first name and last name.com, and I've linked it to this interview. So if you want to purchase his book, it is on his website, and he also does podcast appearances. He has them on his website as well, and it's on Spotify, which is cool. And he just has various things on his website, and it's pretty cool because I did my research before I had him on, and his website's pretty awesome. So you all can go check it out. Thank you all so much for supporting my podcast and for supporting me. I really greatly appreciate you all, and I just want to say thank you. And I hope you all have a great day and make great choices. Bye.